everyone. My name is Peter Colasante.
And I'm Dr. Meredith Bridge.
I am a real estate agent for Bosshardt Realty. I sell single-family homes primarily to first-time home buyers. The product I sell is real estate. The scenario is going to go out that Dr. Bridge is going to come over to my office. This will be her first time at my office, but our second time meeting. In our first meeting, we met at a few houses, and I showed her around what I thought would fit her needs most appropriately. When she gets over, we'll have an informal greeting, make small talk, I'll build rapport, transition into my first selling point, which I will go through and attempt a trial close. She will object, and I will handle that objection by using a put off. I'll go through my second selling point and do another trial close. She'll object again, in which I will handle her objection by comparing and contrasting renting versus buying. And my final closing strategy will be an additional selling point, which I'll use to reinforce the benefits of buying the house that I've chosen.
Hi.
Good morning, Dr. Bridge. How are you?
Good. How are you, Mr. Colasani?
I'm great. Please have a seat. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
to see you made it up here safely. Was your drive all right?
It was great. No traffic.
Oh,
It's nothing like Philadelphia.
that's one of the benefits of living here in a small city like Gainesville.
Sure is. All that time and traffic jams. I don't want that anymore.
Is everything all right at home? Your kids are taken care of?
They're fine. I have them with a caregiver for about an hour. So.
Great. Have you had a chance to look over the houses we looked at a few weeks ago?
Yes, I took some time, and I like a lot of things about some of the houses.
What specifically about the houses is most appealing to you?
Well, what's most important to me is that I live somewhere that is close to where I'm going to work. As you know, I'm thinking about taking a position at the College of Medicine of the University of Florida. But I also want to be close to the Waldorf School of Gainesville because that is where I want to send my children.
I agree. Those are two very important aspects to think about when considering buying a home. If you wouldn't mind, I've got 2 out of those 5 houses I think would suit your needs perfectly. We could review them if that was all right with you.
Sure, I'm open to that.
Great. So here I printed out a spec sheet on 2 houses. We can call these Duck Pond 1 and Duck Pond 2. If you notice by the addresses in the map here, both of these houses are very close to the University of Florida, where you are planning on attending medical school, and they're also extremely close to the Waldorf School, where your kids will be attending.
Really? How close?
10 minutes actually for both of them. You could even drop your kids off at school on your way to work.
Wow, that would be a big plus.
Yes, I agree. Because of their close proximity to each other and your house, it means that you'll be spending more time with your children and less time driving around in a car.
That would be great. I feel guilty enough as a single mother working that I'm not home with my children, and I certainly don't want to spend a lot of time in the car without them. So you hit the nail on the head. That's what's most important, being close so that I'm not driving so much.
Since it seems like you understand the importance of living close to the University of Florida and the Waldorf School, would you be willing to make an offer on one of these houses?
Oh, well, I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not sure I can get a mortgage. I talked to Citibank and Wells Fargo, and neither was interested in giving me a mortgage. As you know, I have more than $200,000 of student loan debt, and I don't think I'm a good credit risk.
To be clear, I understand your concern is with the amount of debt you've accumulated and your ability to get a loan.
That's for sure. That's a big problem for me.
I agree, and it's a concern almost all of my clients have. Your first home purchase is not an easy decision, and there's a lot of factors you need to take into account for making such a big decision.
Yeah, especially in this economy. It's hard to get loans.
I agree, it is. However, I think that this topic is better addressed at the end of the presentation after we've reviewed the houses so that we have a better idea of how much of a loan you need to apply for.
Well, okay, that's all right with me.
So, if it's all right with you, we can look at both of these houses. There's another point that doesn't seem immediately obvious. Duck Pond 2 is within walking distance. In fact, it's on the same block as the Duck Pond Park.
Wow.
What may not be clear is that houses in close proximity to parks sell for an average of 8 to 20% more than houses farther away from a park.
Wow, you're kidding. 20%'s a lot.
Yes, recently a study conducted in Oregon calculated the values of 15,000 houses that were sold and their proximity to the park, and it showed the dramatic increase in asking price for houses close to parks.
But doesn't that mean that I'll just be spending $5,000 to $20,000 more for this house near the park?
In some cases, yes, but if we look at this chart I have here, broken down, this house compared to a similar house, actually similar in square footage and lot size, that isn't close to a park, is selling for the exact same amount.
Wow, so it's almost as though they didn't calculate that additional benefit of being near a park.
Right, that extra benefit isn't reflected in the price because they're both the same. It is an added benefit of choosing Duck Pond number 2 over a house that wouldn't be close to a park.
That makes it pretty attractive.
In addition, being next to a park has other benefits, such as increased ability to go on leisurely strolls with your children and decrease traffic in the area, and also a decrease in noise pollution, all which increase
the desirability of that property.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that is a plus. I like that house too. I remember it. It had a fenced-in backyard, which would be great for my kids.
Yes, that is also another great point of that house. Since we've gone over the added benefits of this park, and we've discussed previously the proximity to the University of Florida and the Waldorf school and that importance to you, would you be willing to make an offer on this house?
Well, it does seem more attractive, but I'm not sure that I should be buying it all. Why not just rent? I've been renting all along, and I mean, to be frank, it's kind of scary being a single mom and buying a house. I'm not sure it's the right thing for me to do right now.
Dr. Bridge, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're concerned that it may not be the correct time to buy, as you have been renting this far in your life, and which has served your purposes adequately.
Yeah, and it's pretty anxiety producing to think about taking on a mortgage and owning a house, and I've just never bought a house before. I
agree. Some of my clients wince when they see the amortization table of their loan, but I assure you, it is a process everyone goes through, and the anxiety goes away with time. I wanted to address the point you made as far as the benefits and costs associated with renting as opposed to buying, and I wanted to make a note that when you rent a home, you're paying the same amount you would be as if you had bought the house in a mortgage, except that that money isn't going towards uh, the principal in building your equity. You're in a sense over this. In a sense, over the short run, it may appear as though renting is a better decision because of the smaller upfront cost. However, when you think about this in the long term, it's a much better deal to buy a house, especially if you plan on staying here a while.
Yeah, I have considered that it's kind of a waste to pay rent. It's like the money just going down the tubes. So what you're saying is if I pay that same amount toward a mortgage, I end up owning the place, whereas when I rent, I come away with nothing.
Exactly. And I'm glad this segues into a final point I'd like to make. We partner with Alarian Bank. Right next door is a community bank which prides themselves in their personal relationships they have with customers and their ability to provide higher quality service and loans to more people.
You mean they might be willing to give me a loan even though Citibank and Wells Fargo wouldn't?
Yes, exactly. Being a smaller bank, they have a smaller corporate structure which allows them, their loan officers, more flexibility in determining a client's qualification for a loan. They can take into account factors that are very important to certain customers. However, they don't fit in the models that Wells Fargo and larger banks use to determine qualification.
Wow. Well, I think I'm a good risk. I mean, after all, I would have a good job and I'm a professional, but that just didn't factor in for Citibank and Wells Fargo. But you're saying that for Alarian it would?
Yes, ma'am. I can assure you that 90% of the customers I refer to them come out with loan approvals and are ready to buy the house of their dreams.
Wow, that sounds so promising. It actually gives me hope.
I think you should have hope. This is an exciting process, but given all the benefits we've discussed in these houses, is there one you'd like to make an offer on?
Well, I mean, this Duck Pond too, it's close to UF where if I accepted the contract, I would take that job. It's close to Waldorf. It's on the same block as a park. And you're saying maybe I could get financing through Alarian.
I can almost guarantee it.
Wow. I think I would put an offer in. Why not?
Great. I'll get some paperwork together and have you talk to a loan officer next door. You would like to purchase Duck Pond too?
I would put an offer in on this before any of the others we looked at, yes. Duck Pond too. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Bridge. It's a pleasure doing business.
And it's great doing business with you.